Didn't quite get the very end of that one.
Are you backing away from the whole overdetermined equation of Asian stuff equaling the future?
Well, you know, I've been, for most of my, in a way, for my entire career, I've been writing about the 21st century. I was writing about it for a long time in the 20th century, when the 21st century was completely an imaginary construct. But in the way of the very slow time machine that we're all riding, I find myself in the real 21st century, which is stranger and more complex and more unstable than virtually anything science fiction ever imagined. I think you pretty much have to go to John Brunner's Stand on Zanzibar to find any imaginary future that actually rivals ours in its multiplex, screwed up, glorious way. So, given that I have a toolkit that I was issued in the late 70s, that's like a standard science fiction writer toolkit. I haven't always done standard things with it, but I know how to use all the tools. I decided that it would be really interesting to, you know, get out the science fiction writer oven mitts and pick up the hot, flaming casserole that is 2010. So I'm using science fiction tools to interrogate a frequently incomprehensible present. You can't actually do imaginary futures unless you can pick up the hot casserole of your present, because if you can't do that, you have nowhere to extrapolate from at all. So one of the reasons I got into this program of writing these 3 speculative novels of the very recent past is that I started to feel that my yardstick for cognitive dissonance was very much an 80s, early 90s yardstick. The world outside the window was weirder than a lot of the stuff I had imagined back at the beginning of the 80s. So one of the reasons I did this was to equip myself with a fully contemporary 21st century cognitive dissonance yardstick, which in theory would make it possible for me to imagine something that's slightly weirder than things are now, and then I'd be able to do, with that, I'd have the beginning of being able to imagine the future from here.